Welcome back. What if Deku became a villain instead of a hero? In What If Deku Becomes a Villain, The Villain Gang Part 1, we dive into an alternate universe where he embraces darkness. Let's get started. In a world where people have powers called quirks. What does it take to be liked? Being charming? A pretty face? A cool quirk? But what if you have the opposite? Being shy? Not being cute? No quirk at all? You'd be judged and seen as a burden, a nobody, treated worse than trash. You'd be left out of society. This is the story of Izuku Midoriya, a boy who has none of these qualities and suffers from the cruelty of everyone around him. His torment started at age 4 when he was diagnosed as quirkless due to having an extra joint in his pinky toe. From that day on, he was bullied at school both physically and verbally for not having a quirk. An easy target. Then, at age 9, his father, Hasashi Midoriya, died in a car accident, forcing his mother, Inko Midoriya, to work to support a family of 3. Who is the third person? That's Izumi Midoriya, Izuku's sister and soul companion. Izumi, with her pyrokinesis quirk, defended Izuku whenever she could. But she was mostly praised for her great quirk and her beauty. Yet, she still loved and protected Izuku. Inko was almost never home due to work, so the Midoriya kids didn't get much attention. Well, only Izuku didn't. The love Izumi lacked at home, she got from her classmates or teachers. And Izuku was left wishing to be loved. Now, Izuku and Izumi are 14 years old and about to enter high school, where they will decide to study to become heroes or just be ordinary. The day started with sunlight on freckled Midoriya's face, waking her from her dreams. She joyfully jumped out of bed and dressed in her school uniform, which included the typical sailor suit and red boots that she and Izuku both bought. She skipped to the kitchen, popping some bread in the toaster and pouring orange juice into 2 glasses. Once the toast was ready, she made 2 jam sandwiches. Izumi, uniform, check. Breakfast, check. Brother. Still pending. She left everything on the table, waiting for Izuku to join her for breakfast. Since their mother worked, she took on the job of making breakfast for her and her brother before school. She walked to a different room and knocked on the door to the tune of a children's song. Izumi, brother, wake up. It's time for school. After getting no reply, she decided to go in without asking. Inside the room, it was dark, with the windows covered and clothes scattered around. On the bed was the sleeping, freckled boy. Izumi did what any caring, responsible sister would do. Izumi, wake up, she shouted, jumping on Izuku's sleeping body. Feeling the stomach pain caused by his sister, Izuku woke up from his nightmares. Izuku, ouch. Izumi, why? Izumi, wake up, or you'll be late for school. Izuku, I'd rather not go. Izumi, huh? Why not? Izuku, I have no reason to go. Nobody likes me at school, not even the teachers. Besides, I learn more at home. Izumi, you do have a reason. Izuku, oh yeah? What's that? Izumi, idiot, I'm the reason. You're going to school because if you don't, I'll feel lonely. Izuku. Izumi stood up and walked toward the door, but before leaving, she said one last thing. Izumi, I know I don't say it often, but I'm nothing without you. You're my motivation. I really don't know what I'd do without you. Now get dressed and come down for breakfast. With that, Izumi went to the kitchen, leaving Izuku deep in thought about what had just happened. Without further delay, Izuku decided to get ready for school and join his sister for breakfast. After eating, they grabbed their things and headed to school. Izuku, I've been through a lot. I don't think this year will be any worse. Poor Izuku. You just challenged life. The school day was relatively normal. Izumi was loved, and Izuku was bullied. After school, everyone headed home. But this time, Izuku was walking alone because Izumi stayed to finish a group project with a friend. And as always, no one chose Izuku. The lonely boy walked home with his head down. Hey, look, there's Deku. He wasn't foolish enough to not know what that meant. Without Izumi, poor Izuku was unprotected, something others took advantage of. He started running like a scared animal. He ran and ran without direction, just trying to lose the bullies chasing him. While running, he didn't notice someone in his path and bumped into them. Being as frail as he was, only Izuku ended up on the ground, his things scattered everywhere. The person he bumped into just looked at him with disdain. Fearful, The freckled boy quickly gathered his belongings and stuffed them back into his bag. He wanted to apologize to the stranger, but he heard the bullies again and resumed running. The stranger watched as the freckled boy ran away, with several kids his age chasing after him. Unbothered, the stranger simply resumed walking. With his first step, he felt something underfoot. Looking down, he saw a notebook titled Hero Notes for the Future Number 13 and Property of Izuku Midoriya. Curiosity piqued, the stranger picked up the notebook the boy had dropped. Upon opening it, he found detailed notes about heroes' quirks and ways to improve them. The stranger smiled broadly and closed the notebook. You could be very useful to us. Izuku Midoriya. The stranger tucked the notebook into his jacket and continued walking somewhere. Meanwhile, the freckled boy arrived home, exhausted but safe, greeted by no one. As usual, he tossed his bag onto a piece of furniture and headed to his room, where he collapsed for a quick nap, worn out from the day. What fate awaits the freckled boy? Schoolyard. A freckled boy sat under a tree, jotting down notes about heroes, something he did often. His notebook had a strange title on the cover, Feeling Ignored? Just End It. A weird choice for a hero journal. Inside, he was writing about Kamui Woods. He was sure he'd already written about him before, so why was he doing it again? Hey, nerd. Writing your dumb notes again? A familiar voice spoke, but Izuku didn't look up out of fear. Izuku, K-Kachan, they're not dumb. Why'd you call me that, you useless idiot? Izuku, but that's what cock. He looked up from his book, only to realize it wasn't who he thought. Instead, it was his sister who had insulted him. Izumi, look at you, you're a mess. How am I related to such a loser? Izuku, Izumi? The boy couldn't believe his sister just treated him like trash. He was used to this kind of treatment, but hearing it from the person he trusted most was different. Izumi, give me that garbage. She snatched the notebook from him and started reading. Strangely, the title on the cover had mysteriously changed to No One Loves You. Izumi, ha, how pathetic. You can't even use a quirk, so you obsess over everyone else's. You're so pitiful, little brother. Izuku, Izumi, please stop, he begged through tears. It was a heavy feeling, the only person who loved you now treated you like everyone else. Izumi, you're right, I'm bored. She held the notebook out for Izuku to take it back. But when he reached for it, she pulled it away again. Izumi, I'll give it back to you. In ashes. Using her pyrokinetic quirk, she set the notebook on fire, completely burning it and leaving Izuku in shock. With a smug smile, she walked away, leaving her brother crying over the ashes of his notebook. Izuku, sniff why. The ashes formed into the word, suicide. The entire schoolyard began to fade into a dull gray. The tree Izuku was sitting under started to melt, forcing him to move away. The ground cracked open, creating a huge hole at Izuku's feet. He fell into the hole, feeling like he was falling but unable to see anything. A light appeared, and suddenly, he was falling from a city building. Izuku, ah! He screamed, waking up from the nightmare. He looked around to make sure it was real and not just part of his dream. Still shaken, he lay back down to think about what he had just dreamed. Izuku, damn it, I had that dream again. It was clear this wasn't the first time he'd had that nightmare. Sometimes the details were different, but the theme was always the same, suicide. The freckled boy checked the time and jumped out of bed to grab his phone. It was 7 p.m., and by now, Izumi should have been home. Worried, he picked up his phone to call her but noticed missed messages from both her and their mom. Izumi, hey brother, just wanted to let you know I'm staying over at a friend's house tonight. P.S. Wake up early and go to school, kisses, 3. 5:32 p.m. Mom, sweetie, I'll be home a bit late tonight, okay? Just wait for me, and Izumi already told me her plans. 6:02 p.m. Feeling more at ease, he set the phone aside. He didn't have any friends, so there was no one to talk to. Izumi was busy, so she wouldn't be chatting with him either. He was just a teenager with the house to himself for a few more hours. What should he do? The most logical thing he could think of was to start writing. He got up from his bed and walked over to the dresser where his backpack was. He opened it and searched for his hero notebook. Izuku, where is it? He kept searching through his backpack, but it still wasn't there. He set the bag down and tried looking around his room, but with no luck. He had notebooks 1 through 12, but the next one was missing. He opened a desk drawer, but it wasn't there either. Defeated, he sat down in a chair and rested his head on the desk. Looking for this? A stranger's voice came from behind him. The person was sitting on Izuku's bed, holding the missing 13th notebook. Frightened, the freckled boy fell out of his chair. You're really good at making detailed notes about heroes. Izuku, who are you? As much as he wanted to, Izuku couldn't get up from the floor. His legs were trembling in fear of the stranger's presence. Izuku Midoriya, diagnosed quirkless at age 4, bullied ever since. You live in your sister's shadow and suffer from your mother's lack of attention. Izuku, how do you know that? Because we outcasts understand each other. Izuku, outcasts? Those excluded from society. Just like you, I'm one of them. Gathering all his strength, Izuku managed to stand and tried to run to the door, but a mist with yellow eyes blocked his path. My name is Shigaraki Tomura, and to be honest, I'm a villain. Izuku, what? Shigaraki, you don't need to be afraid. We won't hurt you. In fact, we want to ask you something. Izuku, what do you want? Shigaraki, we want you to join us. Izuku, what? The front door of the Midoriya house opened, letting in a slender older woman with green hair. This woman was Inko Midoriya, the mother of twins, who had just finished her workday. She carried shopping bags with her. Inko was exhausted from a long day working at the Yaoyorozu mansion. Yes, she was one of the many servants working for that wealthy family. After Hisashi's death, Inko had to find a job to support Izumi and Izuku. She first worked as a waitress in a restaurant, and with time and recommendations, she ended up working for the Yaoyorozu family. Today, her boss asked her to stay a few extra hours to help with some guests. The job wasn't bad, but it took up too much of her time, leaving her with little to spend with her family. It pained her that she couldn't be with her children more often, but bills don't pay themselves. She had to make some sacrifices for the sake of others. A soul for a soul. It was now 8:41 p.m. when she finally returned home. She opened the door and stepped inside. Izuku, I'm back. She called out as she hung her coat on a hook by the door. No one answered. The silence felt strange to Inko, so she called out again. Izuku? She asked, taking off her shoes and putting on slippers to keep the house clean. The silence returned, making her even more worried. Inko, now anxious, walked to her son's room, fearing the worst. She wasn't always around, but she knew the struggles that troubled her children. She had noticed how her son's once bright smile had faded over the years, and Izuku had mentioned some strange dreams to her. The darkest thought that crossed Inko's mind was that Izuku might have tried to harm himself, or worse. That he already had. She ran to Izuku's room and knocked urgently. Izuku, it's me, open up. Again, no response, which made her even more nervous. Without warning, she burst into Izuku's room. But no one was there. But, what's that smell? A delicious smell from the kitchen caught her attention. The green-haired woman hurried down the stairs to find out who was responsible. In the kitchen, she found the source of the wonderful aroma. There was her green-haired teenage son, Izuku, cooking for some reason. Izuku, slurp, I think it needs a bit more, huh? Oh, hi mom, I didn't hear you come in. Izuku took a sip of what he was making and finally noticed his mother, who seemed a bit shaken. Izuku, why are you cooking? Izuku, I wanted to surprise you when you got back, but I guess you were quicker. The younger Midoriya served what he cooked onto 2 different plates. Izuku, come, have a seat. With no other choice, his mother sat down, grateful for the gesture. A few minutes later, Izuku was washing the dishes, while his mother seemed to have something to say but was unsure if she should. Once the dishes were clean, Izuku started heading to his room. Just before going up the stairs, his mother called him. Izuku. Izuku, yes, mom? I love you very much. Izuku, hey, I love you too, mom. I'm going to my room now. The teen left, leaving his mother with words still unsaid. Inko rested her head on the table, frustrated that she couldn't say what she really wanted to. Inko, what's wrong with you? It's just a simple question about which school he wants to attend next year. But, I don't want to hurt his feelings by telling him he can't go to a hero school. Meanwhile, Izuku went up to his room and slowly closed the door. Once the door was shut, he turned his head to the desk where his 13th Hero Notes notebook was resting. He walked over, eyes fixed on it, and picked it up to look more closely. Flashback to an hour earlier. Izuku, what? Izuku was shocked by the situation. The stranger, who had introduced himself as Shigaraki Tomura, had just made a very strange request. Tomura, I think you were too blunt. Look how you left the kid. Spoke the purple mist with yellow eyes, who had been silent until now. Izuku, that thing talks. The freckled boy covered his mouth to avoid drawing more attention. I'll ignore that you just called me thing. I am Kurogiri. Izuku, Midoriya Izuku, he introduced himself to the mist with a small hand gesture. Kurogiri, young Midoriya, your skill in writing about quirks is valuable. Izuku, thanks? I guess. Shigaraki, that's why we need you. Your attention to detail could be very useful to us. So, what do you say? Will you join us? Izuku, no. Why would I join a criminal organization? Shigaraki, to make society pay for treating you badly your whole life. The same society that said you were nothing without a quirk. Haven't you ever wanted revenge for all the times they mistreated you? If you join us, you can show them that you can be someone, and more than that, you'll be the reason for their nightmares. Izuku, well, I'm tired of the bullying, but I don't think joining a criminal group is the answer. Shigaraki, I knew you wouldn't say yes right away. The older man walked over to Izuku's window. Kurogiri also moved and stood beside Shigaraki, expanding his mist. Shigaraki, I'll be back tomorrow to see if you've changed your mind. Finally, Shigaraki tossed the 13th notebook, which the green-haired boy barely managed to catch. Shigaraki, I'll be waiting for your answer. The stranger was swallowed by Kurogiri's mist, and in a blink, they vanished without a trace, leaving Izuku confused and deep in thought. End of flashback. The freckled boy finished recalling what had happened a few hours ago but chose to ignore it. He changed into his sleepwear and lay down, ending his strange day. Outside in the courtyard of the Midoriya's apartment, Shigaraki and Kurogiri were watching Izuku's balcony. Kurogiri, I still think you were too direct. Shigaraki, shut up, I didn't ask for your opinion. Kurogiri, are you sure he'll accept? Shigaraki, of course he will. He just needs a little motivation. He spoke to Kurogiri while lighting a lighter. Shigaraki, he just needs. The day started normally, with birds singing and kids playing. But people soon learned the harsh truth. It was just a regular day. The green-haired boy named Izuku Midoriya opened his eyes to start another school day. Still in bed, he grabbed his phone to check the time. 6:09 a.m. was the time on his phone. Izuku, 6 in the morning? Wow, this must be my lucky day. He always woke up late for school, and Izumi usually had to wake him up. But today was different, he got up early on his own, without an alarm or his sister's help. Smiling, he got out of bed, dressed for school, made breakfast, and left his house. Random person, catch that thief. A woman shouted, alerting everyone nearby. The thief ran, turning into green goo as he was watched by passers-by. Slowly, the goo covered more of his body. Random person, someone chase him. Random person, we can't. Call a hero. A person leaving the supermarket heard the crowd's pleas for help. Random person, why aren't the heroes coming? The person saw the villain, now goo, enter a sewer. Tired, the person decided to help. It's okay now. Random person, you're. Meanwhile, Izuku happily walked toward school. It was a beautiful morning, and he planned to wake up early every day to enjoy the morning breeze. He was close to school, just a few blocks away, going under a bridge. As he crossed the bridge, he felt something slimy underfoot. He stepped on goo that stopped him from walking. No matter how hard he tried, the goo kept him stuck. It slowly started covering more of Izuku's body. He kept struggling but couldn't escape. Villain, relax, kid. It'll hurt for 45 seconds, then you won't feel anything. Izuku, am I going to die like this? I'm sorry, Mom, your son is useless and can't defend himself, sorry, sis. The goo was almost fully covering him. Through blurred vision, he saw someone coming out of a sewer. Texas Smash. A powerful wind blast threw the villain away and knocked Izuku out. Question mark, hey, kid, wake up. Izuku, ha, what happened? Question mark, good job holding on until I got here. Izuku, wait, you're All Might. All Might, of course, I am. Izuku, will you sign my All Might? I already did. Izuku, thank you so much. I'll keep it as a family treasure. All Might, alright, young man, I'm leaving. Izuku, wait, don't go. All Might, damn, I'm running out of time, what do you need? Izuku, I just have one question, can someone without a quirk be a hero? All Might, what? He stopped me just for that? I'm running out of time. Izuku, well, I don't have a quirk, and I always wanted to help people since. He was cut off by All Might. All Might, kid, I get what you're saying, but the world is full of dangers. How can you save others if you can't save yourself? Without a quirk, you can't be a hero. All Might didn't think carefully about his words. He was more focused on maintaining his hero form in front of the young man. Izuku just felt sad hearing All Might's answer. All Might, if you really want to help, become a police officer. People mock them for dealing with the messes left by heroes, but it's an honorable job. Kid? The young man had vanished. All Might took the opportunity to transform back to his normal self. All Might, I feel bad for saying that. Toshinori, why did you say that? You were once the same, a powerless kid with dreams of being a hero. He looked across the bridge. All Might, he went towards the school. Later, when I have the strength, I'll apologize. He turned around and walked to deliver the villain still in his pocket. After All Might crushed his dreams so harshly, Izuku ran to school, crying. Izuku, why am I crying? I knew the truth already, everyone said the same, I'm useless. The poor kid was mourning. He finally reached school, but now with a sad face compared to the morning. Izumi was waiting for him at the door. Izuku wiped his tears to avoid questions. After a quick greeting, the siblings entered school to start their day. Later, near Izuku's school, two people watched the entrance. These people were Tomura and Kurogiri. Kurogiri, I hope your plan works. Tomura, of course, it will work. And if it doesn't, at least we'll have a nice show. Izumi and Izuku packed their things in their backpacks as classes ended. Izuku still couldn't shake off All Might's words from the bridge. Izumi, wait here, I'm going to the bathroom. Izumi left the classroom, leaving Izuku alone with Bakugo. Hey, Deku. Izuku, not again. Hello, Kachan. Bakugo, so, how's being the best going, being a trash? Haha. Izuku, I'm fine. I guess. I'll wait for Izumi outside. Bakugo, hey, I'm not done with you yet. Bakugo grabbed Izuku by the shirt and threw him to the ground. He began to stomp on him. Izuku curled into a fetal position, enduring all the blows. After several hits, they suddenly stopped. Izuku, trembling, looked up but saw no one. Glancing to the side, he saw Bakugo unconscious, with a piece of wood from the ceiling fallen on him. The entire room was starting to catch fire. Izuku, fire? The whole room was burning. Izuku couldn't move much due to the pain from Bakugo's kicks, and Bakugo was unconscious. Izumi burst into the room and saw the scene. Izuku on the floor, weak, and Bakugo knocked out. Instinctively, she ran to help them out. She grabbed the first person she saw, which was Bakugo. Izuku, the first one? Izumi, with Bakugo on her shoulders, managed to get him out. But it wasn't just this room, the whole school was burning. When she tried to re-enter, burning wooden pieces fell, blocking the way. Izumi, brother. Izuku was now trapped with no way out in the burning room. Izuku, why? Why him? Why did you choose to save him and not me? The room seemed like it would collapse on Izuku at any moment. Tomura, your own sister just let you die. How pathetic. Tomura spoke while sitting on a chair that wasn't on fire, unlike the rest. Izuku, you again? Tomura, you have nothing left. No one thinks you're useful, except us. Join us, and even without a quirk, you can be stronger than someone with one. All Might, without a quirk, you can't be a hero. Izuku, why are you so eager for me to join your group? Tomura, because we find you useful. Unlike others, we believe you're good for something. No one wants you, your peers hate you, your mother barely knows you exist, and your sister saved the bully who just beat you up. You're lost, Izuku Midoriya. The ceiling began to collapse slowly. It was only a matter of seconds before the building would fall. Izuku, fine. Save me. Tomura, say the magic words. Izuku, what do you mean? Tomura, will you join us to end the falsehoods in the world, make everyone who wronged us pay, and show we're more than they are? Tell me. Will you join the League of Villains? Izuku, yes. I accept. Tomura, that's what I wanted to hear. Kurogiri, get us out of here. A portal appeared beneath Izuku, and he fell into it, with Tomura following. Izumi managed to escape with Bakugo. She dropped Bakugo safely on the ground but tried to re-enter the school. A teacher stopped her. Izumi, let me go, I have to save my brother, he's inside. Teacher, calm down, Izumi. The heroes will come. Izumi, let me go before. The school exploded in flames, shocking Izumi. The teacher took the chance to pull her away. Izumi, Izuku. All Might, Texas Smash. All Might extinguished the school fire with a single attack. He had come to apologize to the boy and maybe invite him for a coffee, but he didn't expect the school to be on fire. He searched among the students and found the boy, but wasn't he wearing a male uniform? Izumi, All Might, my brother was inside the fire. Help me find him. All Might, calm down, I'll take care of it. That day, the school was consumed by a fire that mysteriously started in the energy reactor room. The fire destroyed everything in its path until it reached the room where Izuku Midoriya, a 14-year-old teenager, was. All Might arrived and managed to put out the fire, but it was too late. The fire had consumed the entire school. Despite their search, they found no trace of Izuku. That day, Izuku Midoriya disappeared. That day, Izuku died. Or should I say, the old Izuku? Normal narration. Saturday 7:39 a.m. Many people were gathered in black clothes for the funeral of the unfortunate boy, Izuku Midoriya. They formed a circle around the coffin where Midoriya's lifeless body lay. Among the mourners, a few could be recognized: Inko, the mother, Izumi, the sister, Mitsuki, Inko's friend and Izuku and Izumi's aunt, and also Bakugo, Izuku's bully and supposed friend in their mother's eyes. Although Izumi knew the truth, she never told anyone. The wake was underway, with the priest speaking and family members crying, especially Inko and Izumi, who were visibly distressed. Izumi was crying heavily, and Bakugo noticed her. Bakugo approached Izumi and tried to put a hand on her shoulder to comfort her, but she reacted quickly and slapped his hand away. Izumi, sniff, don't you dare touch me. Bakugo, Izumi, I'm sorry. Izumi, it's Midoriya to you. Bakugo, I'm sorry, I didn't mean. Izumi, didn't mean what? Because of you, he's dead. If you hadn't hit him that day, he might have escaped. I shouldn't have saved you first. Bakugo fell silent, he had messed up enough, and everyone was watching them. Izumi couldn't hold back her tears and started crying again. She needed some space, so she turned and walked away. While she was catching her breath, someone touched her shoulder. Izumi, I told you not to touch me. She yelled, thinking it was Bakugo, but when she turned around, she saw someone she didn't recognize. This person had a thin appearance, a very skinny face, and eyes that seemed sunken. Their hair was long and blonde. Although the person was strange, Izumi felt like she had met them before. Calm down, I'm just here to talk. Izumi, sniff s sorry, who are you? I'm Toshinori Yagi. I met your brother a day before the accident. Izumi, why are you here? Toshinori, I wanted to give him something, but given the circumstances, I can't give it to him. The man took out a framed photo signed by All Might from his black jacket. Izumi, wow. How did you get that? Toshinori, I have my connections. Since I can't give it to him, I'd like you to keep it as a memento. Izumi, but why? The girl asked through her tears. Toshinori, I said something very hurtful, and I couldn't apologize. I feel terrible. Izumi, please, don't worry. He would have forgiven you anyway. He always forgives everyone. I'd be more than happy to receive this for him. Izumi looked at the photo with a nostalgic smile, remembering the time she played All Might with Izuku. Toshinori, let's go back to the others. Izumi, yes. You're right. They returned to the group. Toshinori was more visible, and Izumi held the signed All Might photo close. The priest finished with these words. Priest, Izuku Midoriya, loved by many and hated by few, may your spirit rise high in the sky, where you will be for ages. O Father, watch over this angel sent to us and forgive him for all his sins. The priest continued speaking as everyone cried, while someone watched from afar. The observer wore a black hoodie. When they lowered the hood, green hair was revealed. They stood up from the bench and spat out a gum. The person turned around, revealing their identity, a boy with green hair, green eyes, and freckles. It was Izuku Midoriya, who was not dead. Having watched the entire funeral, Izuku decided to leave before anyone else. As he walked backward, a portal appeared behind him. Izuku, O Father. Forgive me for what I've done and what I will do, but thank me for how many people I will free. The world doesn't change, it only causes pain, so I will change it by causing more pain. The world will know true suffering. Izuku said this looking at the sky, raising his arms as if he were a messiah. Walking backward in the same pose, he entered the purple portal behind him. Izumi, distracted from the funeral, turned towards a bench a bit away. The bench was empty, though she felt she had seen someone there. Inko, honey, let's go home. Izumi, oh. Yes, sure. Everyone began to leave, leaving only Toshinori at Izuku's grave, which was next to Hisashi's. Toshinori, I'm sorry, kid, for how I treated you. I'm sure that if I had told you about it, things would have been very different. The portal opened into a bar, and Izuku stepped out. Tomura was watching TV while Kurogiri, dressed as a waiter, started cleaning some glasses. Tomura, did you finish what you needed to do? Izuku, yes. Tomura, good, because it's time for you to visit. 2 weeks ago, all the firefighters, police officers, and heroes in the area were rescuing people trapped inside the building. In one specific area, a very strong hero landed after a big jump. This hero was none other than All Might, who had Izumi on his back. The girl asked the symbol of peace to help her find her brother. The hero and the girl started searching for Izuku in the room that had collapsed a few minutes earlier. Izumi asked All Might to lift some debris to look for him. One piece of debris stood out because it was crushing the boy's backpack. Izumi nervously asked the hero to lift that particular piece of debris. She hoped to find some sign of her green-haired brother, but they found nothing. So, they decided to keep searching, although one of them was more desperate to find him. Meanwhile, Izuku fell on his back in pain as he came out of the portal, while Shigaraki landed normally. Shigaraki ignored Izuku's pain and walked past him, while Kurogiri changed into a waiter's uniform, taking on a human form and stopping being just missed. Kurogiri, now in human form, helped Izuku to stand up, but unfortunately, Izuku couldn't stay upright due to the pain and fell face first, causing more pain. The portal-powered man helped the green-haired boy again, but this time he held him so he wouldn't fall. He also helped him walk to a seat near the bar. Izuku, now more comfortable, looked around. The place seemed like a bar with a counter, a jukebox, and a TV above the bar. Although it was a bar, it was very clean and well kept. Tomura, who was sitting at the bar with Kurogiri serving him a drink, spoke up. Tomura, it looks like you're looking for something. Izuku, I don't know. Where are the others? Kurogiri also served Izuku a glass of water. Tomura, the others? Tomura took a sip from his glass. Izuku, I mean the other members of the League of Villains. Izuku tried to take a sip from his drink, but the pain made him drop it. Just before the glass hit the ground and broke, a small portal opened in the floor, catching the glass. The glass appeared back in Kurogiri's hand, and he placed it back on the bar. Izuku was amazed by the man's control over his quirk. Tomura, oh, yes. Let me introduce you. The League consists of me, the leader, Kurogiri, the escape door, and you, the brains and analyst. Izuku, and? Tomura, and we'll look for the others later. Izuku, you're telling me that you call yourselves a league, but there are only 2 people? Tomura, yes. Is there a problem? Tomura suddenly put a hand on his face as if wearing a mask. Note, he hadn't been wearing it before because he was in civilian clothes. The mask gave Izuku a shiver of fear, so he decided it was best not to respond. Kurogiri appeared behind them, having been away somewhere while they talked. Kurogiri, Tomura, I've done what you asked. Tomura, perfect. Izuku, what did Kurogiri do? Tomura, he placed a fake body at the accident site so that when they find it, they'll report you as dead. Izuku, what? Tomura, ha ha, calm down. Just kidding. The body wasn't fake, It was a real dead person. Izuku, that's worse. Tomura, not really. It was just luck that we found someone who looked like you, though he only had green, curly hair and no freckles. Anyone who saw his face would know it wasn't you. Izuku, so what did you do? Tomura, we burned the face to make it unrecognizable so they wouldn't know it wasn't you. We might have also crushed his bones, just for the sake of it. Izuku, oh my god, that's disgusting. Tomura, what are you complaining about? I did everything. Next time we need to do something like this, it will be your turn. Izuku, I think I regret this decision. I'm going home. Tomura, that's not going to happen. Tomura turned on the TV, showing news about the fire at Izuku's school. At the school's burned entrance, a hero was carrying the body of a green-haired teenager. A girl was crying behind him. The hero walked slowly, head down, carrying the lifeless body of the fake Izuku while Izumi cried out her brother's name. It was a heartbreaking scene. The news headline read, "Teenager dies in fire." Izuku couldn't believe it. He was literally seeing his own death. Even though he wasn't the one who died, it hurt to see his sister cry, and he was a bit angry that All Might was the one who found him. He still hadn't forgiven him for how he spoke to him that morning. Tomura muted the TV to speak to Izuku. Tomura, from now on, Midoriya, you're dead. You have nowhere to go, and I regret to inform you that if you try to back out, I will kill you for real, and no one will know because you're supposedly dead. Izuku, I guess. I don't have any other choice. Tomura, that's the spirit. Tomura got up from his seat and went to a door. Tomura, this way are the rooms, about 13 in total. Yours is number 7, no complaints. Tomura, the world doesn't change, it just causes pain. So we'll change it ourselves by making people feel more pain. The world will only know peace through pain. I've said it before, but we need you, Izuku. You're useful to us. I'll wait until your wounds heal to introduce you to someone. Tomura left, leaving Izuku in deep silence, thinking about his words. Present day. Today, Izuku accepted his fate and continued making quirk reports about various heroes and his 2 league companions. This morning, Kurogiri informed him that his funeral was taking place, so he decided to attend quietly to see his family one last time. His wounds had healed, which Tomura had noticed. When Izuku returned from the funeral, he decided to tell Tomura. Tomura, have you finished what you wanted to do? Izuku, yes. Tomura, good, because it's time for you to visit. Izuku, when will I meet him? Izuku asked Tomura, who was watching TV. Tomura, who? Izuku, I don't know. You said 2 weeks ago you would introduce me to someone. Tomura, oh, right. He will call us when he's ready. Izuku, aren't you bored? Tomura, bored? What do you mean? Izuku, I mean you just watch TV and play video games. You don't do anything productive, not even look for new recruits. Tomura, I don't handle that. Kurogiri finds them and Hiron interviews them. In fact, you're the first and only person I've recruited myself. Izuku, okay, I'll take that as a compliment. So, what's the goal of the League? Tomura, to destroy the society we know and create a new one. Izuku, and where do we start? Tomura, by killing their symbol of peace, All Might. Izuku, what? Are you crazy? They'll destroy us all. Tomura, calm down, I have a trick up my sleeve. Tomura's phone started ringing, catching his attention. He pulled it out with 2 fingers to avoid disintegrating it. Looking closer, Tomura saw that it was Kurogiri calling. Tomura, what do you want? Kurogiri, Tomura, I've sent a few new recruits for interviews. Tomura, and why should I care? You should tell Hiron, not me, idiot. Kurogiri, let me finish. Also, we're running out of funds. Tomura, finally. Tomura ended the call and put his phone away. Tomura, come on, follow me. Tomura led Izuku to Shigaraki's room. When they entered, Izuku saw that the room was messy. The bed was unmade and there were electronics everywhere, like TVs, game consoles, and some clothes. Anyone who didn't know him would think he bought all this, but we know it doesn't belong to him. Back to the point, they entered the room of the blue-haired guy. Shigaraki went to his closet and pulled out a green coat, which he threw at Izuku. Izuku, what's this for? Tomura, put it on. We're leaving. Izuku, oh, great. Where are we going? Tomura, we're going shopping. The adult went to a box in the corner and took out a pair of hands, which he wrapped around his body. Izuku, I don't like where this is going. 8:54. Around 9 p.m., when everyone is at home eating or walking around, Shigaraki and Izuku went to the city center. More specifically, they headed to the dark part of the city to avoid being seen easily. Izuku was wearing Shigaraki's oversized coat, and Shigaraki wore his typical villain outfit. Izuku was nervous about what he had to do. Shigaraki walked on without stopping. They kept walking through alleys to avoid people until they reached a regular store. They hid next to the store. Izuku, is this the place? Shigaraki, yes, this store has an ATM. You distract them while I get the money. Izuku, but I don't have a quirk and I don't even know what to do. Shigaraki, go in with this and aim it at everyone. Shigaraki pulled out a gun from his pants and handed it to Izuku. Izuku, a gun? Shigaraki, shh, be quiet or they'll hear us. To keep him quiet, Shigaraki covered Izuku's mouth with his 4 fingers. Shigaraki, now go in. He kicked Izuku, forcing him into the store. Inside, Izuku saw it was a regular store with only 3 customers and a cashier. Tomura was behind Izuku, waiting for him to distract everyone so he could break into the ATM. Everyone in the store stared at the trembling boy with a gun. Izuku was very nervous, and the gun was shaking. Gathering all his courage, he tried to act like a villain. Izuku, put your hands up, this is a robbery. His first attempt was a big mistake. Instead of scaring them, the people started laughing at him. Ha ha ha. Shigaraki couldn't believe how dumb Izuku was. One of the people laughing approached Izuku, still laughing. Man, ha ha, nice joke kid. Is this some hidden camera prank? Izuku, what are you talking about? Man, huh? This is a real robbery? Ha ha, you're just a kid. The man punched Izuku hard in the face, knocking him to the ground while the others laughed. Man, a kid trying to rob us? Pathetic. The man kicked Izuku while the others applauded. Shigaraki, fed up, decided to go in. With his hands in his pockets, he showed who was in charge. Man, what? Another one? Ha ha, now they come in pairs. Shigaraki, shut up. Tomura placed his hand on the man's head. The man was instantly disintegrated in front of everyone, including Izuku, who couldn't believe it. Tomura looked at the others and said, Shigaraki, the next person who causes trouble will end up like this. No one moved out of fear, including Izuku. Tomura approached the cash register, took all the money, and then went to the ATM to destroy it and get the money inside. One of the people in the store quietly pulled out a gun and aimed at Shigaraki's head. Izuku noticed this and, without thinking, grabbed the gun he'd been given and aimed at the person's hand. Boom! Izuku shot the person. Although he aimed at the hand, the bullet hit the man's head and killed him. Shigaraki turned around and saw the scene, Izuku aiming a gun and a dead person on the ground. Shigaraki, good job. He only praised Izuku, but the poor kid was traumatized, he had just killed someone. Shigaraki, alright, let's go. Shigaraki put all the money into his backpack and grabbed as much food as he could. Then he walked away with his hands in his pockets, showing he was in charge. Izuku, still in shock, just followed him. They both entered an alley, and just as the sound of police sirens was heard, Tomura called Kurogiri to pick them up. A portal appeared in front of them. Shigaraki went through, but Izuku didn't notice and stayed behind. Shigaraki reappeared, grabbed Izuku, and pulled him into the portal. Breaking news. Store robbery in the city center leaves 2 dead. Moments ago, 2 people entered a store in the city center to steal money and items. One of them was wearing black clothes and had hands wrapped around his body, while the other wore a green coat and was armed. Witnesses say the second suspect had green hair, and the TV was turned off. The person watching the TV was Izumi, who hadn't left her room for weeks. Knock knock. Inko, Izumi, go to bed early because tomorrow is your first day at the new school. Izumi, yes, Mom. Izumi picked up the frame next to her bed, which had a photo of her and Izuku when they were kids. Izumi, I miss you, brother. On a beautiful day, the trees swayed in the breeze, and the sun shone everywhere. The birds sang and enjoyed their happy day, just like the family spending a quiet weekend in the countryside. This family was none other than the Midoriya family, with everyone there. The Midoriyas took advantage of the lovely day to go on a picnic outside. Everything was perfect. Inko enjoyed the sunshine, Hasashi tried to open a sandwich package, and the twins played together. Izumi and Izuku ran around the field, enjoying the wind on their faces. This is a memory from 9 years ago, before everything changed. The twins ran while playing that Izuku was the hero and Izumi was the villain. Izumi was always the villain because Izuku was afraid to be one, and she, even though they were the same age, acted like the older sister and let him be the hero. They were so excited that they didn't notice a rock in front of Izuku. Izuku tripped over the rock and fell face first, getting hurt badly. Izuku started crying, and Izumi yelled for their parents. After their parents bandaged Izuku, they sat under a tree, with Izuku resting from his injuries and Izumi staying with him to keep him company. A group of kids their age started playing in front of them. When they saw the twins, they invited them to join, but Izuku had to decline due to his injury, and Izumi also declined to stay with her brother. Izuku was surprised, thinking Izumi would accept the invitation. When the kids left, Izuku asked Izumi why she stayed. Izuku, Izumi, why didn't you want to play with them? Izumi, because if I went with them, I'd leave you alone. Izuku, why choose me, me? You could play with them, but not with me? Izumi, I will always choose you first. Izuku, then. Why didn't you save me? Izumi, what? The scene magically changed, and now Izumi was 14, just as the school roof fell on Izuku. Everything around Izumi was consumed by fire until only she remained in a black space. Riving. Izumi's alarm clock went off. Everything that just happened was a nightmare. Lately, she had many similar nightmares or dreams involving Izuku. As she slowly woke up, she saw her new school uniform beside her bed. Yes, she was going to a new school, not just any school, but the best one in the city where rich people go. How did this happen? Inko sued the school for her son's death and got a large sum of money. Thanks to this, she could stop working extra hours and give Izumi a better education. Izumi, feeling low, got out of bed and changed into her new uniform. Hours later, she arrived at her new school, which seemed huge, more like a university than a high school. Everyone looked at Izumi strangely. It was no surprise since she was the new girl. Fortunately, a black-haired girl with a ponytail approached her. The girl didn't seem to be the same age as Izumi due to her features. She was taller, had a beautiful gaze, and was stunning overall. This girl was Momo Yaoyorozu, the best creation of God. Yaoyorozu, hi. Since I've never seen you before, you must be new. I'm Momo Yaoyorozu. The elegant and pretty Momo introduced herself to Izumi, who was a bit happy about the warm welcome. But she wasn't in the mood to introduce herself as she usually would. Izumi, hi, my name is Midoriya Izumi. Nice to meet you. The black-haired girl offered to show Izumi around the school, and they left together. A group of other girls watched this with jealousy, as Izumi was catching the attention of the boys. They would soon let her know who was in charge here. After classes, Yaoyorozu left in her limousine, and Izumi began to walk home. The group of jealous girls approached Izumi. Girl, look at you, the new girl driving the boys crazy. Izumi, what? Girl, do you think you can do whatever you want just because of your hair color? Humph. The girl pushed Izumi to the ground. Girl, wait a minute. I know you. Your brother died in a fire and you sued the school. I saw you on TV. Ha ha, what a poor girl you are. The girls laughed loudly. They grabbed Izumi's backpack and scattered her things all over the ground. She got up and tried to throw a small fireball at the girl, but nothing happened. Girl, did you try to use your quirk? Ha ha, my quirk can cancel out other people's quirks. Taking advantage of this, the other girls pushed Izumi down again and threw dirt in her face. When they got tired of bothering her, they left Izumi crying on the ground with all her stuff scattered. Still crying, she started picking up her things and putting them back in her backpack. A hooded and masked stranger approached Izumi and began gathering her things. Feeling nervous and afraid of being robbed, Izumi backed away from the stranger. The stranger, ignoring her reaction, continued collecting her items and putting them into her backpack. When he finished, he handed the backpack to Izumi and helped her up. Without saying more, the stranger hurriedly walked toward the girls who had bullied Izumi. Still confused, Izumi walked home, trying to process what had just happened. The group of girls split up and went home. The girl who had cancelled Izumi's quirk opened her front door calmly and stepped inside as the door slowly closed behind her. Just as the door was about to close, someone put their foot in the way, stopping it. That someone was the same masked stranger. The girl still hadn't noticed him. As the stranger removed his mask and hood, revealing that it was Izuku. Hi. 1 day ago. We are right at the moment when Shigaraki and Izuku stole from the store. Shigaraki went through the escape portal, but Izuku didn't because he was traumatized by recent events. Shigaraki passed through the portal and arrived at the bar, but noticing the absence of the green-haired kid, he went back through the portal to bring Izuku. When he went through the portal, he grabbed Izuku by his sleeve and dragged him into the portal. Once both were in the bar, the portal closed behind them and transformed into Kurogiri. Tomura looked at Izuku with a seriously expression. Shigaraki, seriously? Is this how you do things? Izuku, what did you expect? It was my first robbery. Shigaraki, so what? Izuku, I can't do it like you. Because you have a quirk, unlike me. You have confidence because if someone bothers you, you could just disintegrate them. But I can't do anything. Shigaraki, yes, you can. If someone is bothering you or gets too bold, you grab a weapon and shoot them, just like you did with that guy earlier. Izuku, oh god, right, I killed someone. Izuku curled up on the bar floor while Kurogiri and Shigaraki watched him. Shigaraki, that's your problem, you're too soft. I told you before, the quirk only helps with some things, but it all depends on you and how tough you are. Izuku, what do you mean? Shigaraki, it doesn't matter if you have a quirk or not. What matters is how quickly you pull the trigger and react to the situation. Izuku, do you really think so? Shigaraki, even if I have a quirk, I know 1,000 ways to kill you painfully without using it. Izuku. Shigaraki, imagine if someone was attacking your sister. What would you do? Stand by because you don't have a quirk? Or would you kill the entire family of the bastard, torture him for 3 days while feeding him only his dead, crushed family? Izuku, I'd probably just try to hit him. Your second option is too twisted. Shigaraki, see, that's your problem. You lack hatred, Midoriya. Without it, you won't get far. Think about that. Shigaraki left, leaving Izuku alone with Kurogiri, who also left through a portal, leaving him completely alone. Izuku got up and walked to his room with the gun still in his hand. The next day, Izuku got bored being locked in the bar, so he decided to ask Shigaraki for permission to go out. Shigaraki gave permission but with the condition that Izuku wear a mask so he wouldn't be recognized or run into someone who knows him. Izuku went to his room and took a black jacket and a mask to hide his identity. When he put on the hood and mask, he noticed the gun on the desk. Shigaraki, if someone is bothering you or gets too bold, grab the weapon and shoot them. He took the gun but only for self-defense. With everything ready, Izuku left the bar and walked a few blocks to pass the time. His goal was just to get some fresh air, but he never expected to see his sister being pushed to the ground. It was clearly her. Not every day do you see a girl with green hair, freckles, and red sneakers. The green-haired boy stood still, just as Shigaraki had instructed. He watched helplessly as his sister was abused by a group of 5 girls. His anger boiled, and when he grabbed his weapon, ready to shoot one of them, they had already left. He put the weapon away and helped Izumi gather her things. Afterward, he followed one of the girls to her home. He didn't know exactly what he would do, but she would pay. As the girl's door was about to close, he stuck his foot in to stop it. He carefully closed the door without being noticed and approached the girl. Izuku, hello. Girl, who are you? What are you doing in my house? Izuku, I'm here for something. Girl, what is it? Money? Take whatever you want. Izuku, I'm here for justice. Izuku struck the girl's face, knocking her to the ground. Izuku, oh? Aren't you going to hit me like you did Izumi? Girl, how did you? Izuku, I saw you, you filthy. He kicked her again as she started to cry. Izuku, what? Are you crying? Ha ha ha, how pathetic. Girl, stop. Father, honey, I heard screaming. Who are you? The father came down the stairs. Seeing the situation, he ran to hit Izuku. Izuku quickly pulled out his gun and shot the man in the chest. Girl, Dad. Why did you kill him? Izuku, he was a nuisance. Do you have any other family here? The girl weakly shook her head. Izuku, better this way. No one else will worry about you. Izuku looked at the man's body, feeling bad but doing exactly what Shigaraki told him. The girl got up, pushed Izuku, and tried to run. Izuku shot her twice, hitting her in the leg. She fell to the ground and, with her last strength, looked at Izuku. Girl, but I nullified your quirk. Izuku, there's something you didn't know, I don't have a quirk. Bang! He shot her in the head. Izuku left the body and exited the house. Outside, Shigaraki was waiting. Izuku, what are you doing here? Shigaraki, I followed you to see what you were up to, and you surprised me. Izuku, it's her fault for messing with my sister. Shigaraki, you said you'd only beat her. Izuku, let's say I vented after years of suffering. Shigaraki, and who do you think you are now? Izuku, just a madman with a gun. Shigaraki, well said, let's go. They walked away from the crime scene until they disappeared. Breaking news. A small family of 2 was murdered in the upscale neighborhood. Witnesses reported hearing screams and gunshots. The identity of the perpetrator is still unknown, but security cameras revealed something striking about them. They were wearing large red sneakers. With this small clue, the police nicknamed the killer Red Shoes. The TV was turned off. Shigaraki, nice nickname, huh? Izuku, shut up. The TV turned back on, this time displaying a purple screen. Tomura Shigaraki, come to the base with the person you wanted to introduce, said the TV, surprising Izuku. Shigaraki, Midoriya, we're leaving. Izuku, now? But we just. Shigaraki, now. Izuku, okay. Izuku stood next to Shigaraki, and they both entered the portal Kurogiri had created. Izuku turned off the TV. Izuku, I hate hiding like this, but it's one of the consequences of being famous, don't you think? Maruko, MHMHMMHM. In a closer view, Izuku was in the bar with a guy who was tied up and gagged. Izuku, oh, sorry, let me take that off. Izuku removed the tape from the guy's mouth, letting him breathe properly. Maruko, what do you want, you sick freak? Izuku, hey, why are you insulting me? I haven't done anything to deserve that. Maruko, no? You came into my house armed, hurt my brother, and kidnapped me. Izuku, you're right, I do deserve it, but I'm just following orders. Maruko, what do you want from me? I have no money, nothing to steal. Izuku, but you have an interesting quirk. Maruko, my quirk? What does that have to do with anything? Izuku, I don't know, I was just given a list of people to kidnap, and they all have the same quirk. Maruko, what did you do with them? Izuku, I don't know, but if I were you, I'd start praying. Kurogiri appeared in front of them, and Izuku stood up to gag Maruko again and disarm him, then threw him into the portal that Kurogiri created. Izuku sat back down on the couch while remembering when he got this mission. Flashback. Tomura Shigaraki, come to the base with the person you wanted to introduce. The TV spoke, surprising Izuku. Shigaraki, Midoriya, we're leaving. Izuku, now? But we just. Shigaraki, now. Izuku, okay. Izuku and Shigaraki entered Kurogiri's portal to travel to the place where they would meet Shigaraki's master. They stepped into a dark room with some tubes connected to something. The lights turned on, revealing a huge chair with many tubes and cables plugged in. In that chair sat Shigaraki's master. He looked like a businessman, but his face was burned. Shigaraki, hello, master. Shigaraki immediately knelt to show respect. Izuku didn't understand and stayed standing. Seeing Izuku didn't kneel, Shigaraki kicked him, causing him to fall to his knees. Tomura Shigaraki, is this the guy you wanted to introduce me to? Shigaraki, yes, master. This is Izuku Midoriya, the one who has been giving you the hero quirk reports. Izuku, were they for him? Young Midoriya, congratulations on your excellent eye for quirks. I assume you use yours perfectly. Izuku, about that. Don't say more. I understand, your face says it all. You don't have one, I get it. Izuku, sorry for not being very useful. Of course, you are. Your reports show you are very observant, and that's much more dangerous than a quirk. Shigaraki, what did you want to tell us? I have a mission for you too. Shigaraki, what is it about? I need you to bring me these people. A person named Ransom appeared and gave Izuku and Shigaraki a paper with many names. Izuku, why? These people are essential for a plan I'm working on. Or rather, their quirks are essential. Izuku, quirks? Their quirks involve creating objects. Some have more limitations than others, but their purpose is the same. Find a way to get them to Kurogiri, and he will bring them to me. Shigaraki, as you wish, master. Izuku, why yes, sir. Just call me all for one or master, whichever you prefer. Now you can leave, I have things to plan. Both boys bowed to all for one and walked to Kurogiri, who teleported them back to the bar. Shigaraki, well, you heard the master. Tomorrow, you need to bring in as many as you can, and they better be alive. Izuku, why yes. End of flashback. So far, he had brought in 3 of the 4 people he was assigned, including Maruko. Now, he only needed one more person, so he looked at the list of names and read it. Momo Yaoyorozu. Izuku, this can't be true. Izumi's classes were over, and she could finally leave. The school wasn't bad, but there were quite a few people who didn't accept her and tried to take advantage of her. Strangely, they all ended up dead. I guess some crazy guardian angel must have done justice. Back to the point, Izumi and Momo, her new and only friend at the school, were sitting alone on a stairwell. Momo was waiting for her ride, and Izumi was keeping her company. The 2 girls were chatting normally while a hooded figure approached. Izumi decided to buy a drink from a machine, so Momo was left alone. Izuku, the hooded figure, approached Momo to carry out his plan. He had no intention of being stealthy, as he was considering hitting her with a stick or using a tranquilizer. He moved in slowly, like a predator stalking its prey, ready to strike at any moment. Izumi, sorry for the wait. Izumi appeared out of nowhere, surprising Izuku. Izuku, Izumi? What is she doing here? To avoid suspicion, Izuku decided to bypass her and hide behind a nearby wall. Izumi, here's your drink. Momo, I could have paid for it myself, you know? Izumi, I know, but it's the least I can do to thank you. Momo, thank me for what? Izumi, for how you've treated me. You're the only one who's spoken to me since I arrived, and you're the one I share my problems with. Momo, don't worry, Midoriya, you can count on me for anything. Izumi, hee hee, it's strange hearing that from the almost boss of my mom. The 2 girls laughed while Izuku listened to their conversation. Izumi, you know, I really don't know what I'd do without you. My old friend stopped talking to me after my brother died. You're all I have left. Izuku, now I feel guilty. Momo, I won't be like the others. I'll be here for you, no matter what. Izumi, I think I have to go. Goodbye. Momo, goodbye. Izumi left, leaving Momo alone again. Izuku, hi. Izuku approached Momo but in a friendly manner. Momo, hi? Do I know you? Izuku, oh, sorry. I didn't mean to scare you. I just wanted to ask you something. Momo, what do you want? Izuku, how long have you known that girl? Momo, you mean Midoriya? A few weeks. Why do you want to know? Izuku, not at all, just curious. Momo, wait a minute, why are you hiding your face? You know that's illegal, right? You're not a villain, are you? Izuku, no. I'm just a somewhat recognized person, and if someone sees my face, it could cause a commotion. Momo, oh, I guess you're right. You must be very famous. I'm Momo Yaoyorozu, nice to meet you. Izuku, my name is. Beep beep. A car horn sounded. Momo, sorry, I have to go. Goodbye. Momo got into the car, and Izuku went back to the bar. On the way, he received a message from Kurogiri asking if he had the girl, to which he replied no. Izuku, I can't kidnap my sister's only friend. Izuku returned to the bar, and Shigaraki asked about Momo. Izuku, I didn't find her. Shigaraki, it doesn't matter now. The master already has enough creation quirks to do what he wants. Izuku, good thing. Shigaraki, but I have good news. Izuku, what is it? Shigaraki, the master's Nomu is ready. We just need to wait for the UA classes to start, and we'll kill All Might. Izuku, 2 things, 1, what is a Nomu? And 2, What will we do when the classes start? Shigaraki, we'll gather information to know when we can attack. Izuku, and how will we do that? Shigaraki, that's your job.